I thought it was time for a Naaman update. It's been about a week. The pictures you saw at the beginning, those were from me doing fecal stuff here at home. And I had to send the vet that picture, like, okay, is this something? Because, I know the few parasites that are mentioned online. But I only found one place that mentioned bearded dragons getting fluke infestations. And I thought, is that a fluke? Because it just kind of has a mouth and a body. And I don't know. I saw those on the lowest magnification. So they were a lot bigger than the pinworms and the pinworm eggs and things like that. So I would have done a video sooner. Naaman has been hiding and shedding, so I thought, okay, let's do a little bath. And I had my hand under her, but she prefers to have her hands on the bottom and to float. So that's what she's doing. But it's Saturday, and I messaged the vet Monday. She got back to me Wednesday. And they're trying to locate the medication for the fluke things, or they could have been the other thing mentioned in that email. And it just shows you, if you just get a reptile, take it home, and especially bearded dragons, they eat raw food, they eat bugs, they're going to have parasites. I can't imagine a miracle that would be needed for them not to have that. So fecals are important, and just one fecal one day, that's not going to show you everything. There's life cycles to all of those. I'm sorry, I'll keep the camera on. There's life cycles for those, so they don't always show up. And then the vet tech said sometimes you can get all male parasites and they don't shed eggs right then, and there's just a whole lot to it. So now I can say there's a good reason for doing fecals on your own. And I literally stuck my phone camera to where I could look down the eyepiece and took a picture, send it to the vet. I have not been bombarding my vet with all kinds of pictures, but I've taken pictures and I've tried to find, is this anything? Is this an egg? Is it a worm? Is it a creature? Is it coccidia? Coccidia was the first thing I saw, and it was pretty easy. But now I definitely think there's a purpose to doing your own fecals at home and practicing and getting better at it, getting the procedure down. But it is time consuming. Watching your reptile and waiting for them to give you a sample. That's a nice way to put it. Give you a sample. And then processing that is a good half hour. Then looking at it and then cleaning the stuff. So I think one fecal just straight through is about an hour or more. It depends, because my eyes get tired and I take a break and then I come back and I look again. So how does a bearded dragon get something like a fluke? Lots of people want to do natural environments for these bearded dragons, but they're not natural as the outback or in Australia. There's not that level of heat all the time. There's not that level of humidity. We live in other parts of the world. So to do something natural, some people will order specific bugs to try to clean out the bacteria of those. And sometimes people will say, well, I change it out once a week. Well, a lot of different stuff grows in an enclosed glass or whatever tank, with the humidity. And if you get those little, I think they're called isopods and things, to clean it, it's just risky. One thing that I did discover was flukes are generally in the water, and the way they get on land is through creatures like snails. And this is really summing it up in a nutshell. I read a lot, and I did get the book that she mentioned in the email, and I was looking and reading about these things like, okay, this could have been very innocent. Somebody, hey, let's try to find tiny bugs for Naaman to eat, which was a challenge for them. So they were trying to find things in the yard, and there could have been a snail, or some creature ate a tiny snail. You know, it can happen that way. It could be very innocent, and, you know, if a breeder was working on these guys, you know, he might have just not had good husbandry. And I'll tell you, it is really hard to be clean enough for bearded dragons. And even if you're not, do fecals, check them out, treat them for this stuff. Because think about it, you give dogs anti-parasitic medication every month. Why would you not do that for reptiles that eat, you know, fresh vegetables that could still have eggs on them? It could still have bird poo on there that you can't see, even with us rinsing it off. She's floating. You're so cute. It's gonna happen, you know. It's really hard. Like, we cook our food, and then that kills off a lot of stuff that you don't want to think about being in there. I don't want to think about it. So now I think there's a very good reason for that, to do the fecals. It's more expense, it's more time, and it makes me think of, in a show, Portlandia, the one guy, Spike, was trying to buy a car, and they showed a Mercedes-Benz turbo diesel wagon, which my husband and I used to own. And what he said about that used car on his lot was, you pretty much have to be a mechanic to own this car. I'm starting to feel that way about bearded dragons. You have to practically be a vet to keep a bearded dragon and it not have all these problems. I mean, I'm doing a lot of things that I would pay them money to do, but I can't do it as often. I mean, even if I had the money, it's the time taking the sample there and their time processing it and looking at it, especially if you can't see everything in every fecal. So what she asked me to do is check weekly, do a weekly fecal. What are you looking at, little one? Looking outside? Okay. So how many people get bearded dragons and they don't even live to be 1.5 years, and it's just sick. They don't know why. You know, I've seen a lot of folks in our reptile group, and, you know, they come and go, their reptile doesn't make it, and they kind of drop out. And maybe they didn't have a vet nearby to do the right fecal. You know, things happen. It's hard to find a good vet. It's hard to find an exotic vet, I should say. And it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just having the vet with the facilities and the resources to do these things. So right now, we do not have the medicine yet to treat the fluke things, but we're on it. We're getting it. And Naaman's enjoying a soak and out where I can see her instead of hiding under a blanket. It was still the cutest thing ever. Yes, it was. I'm sorry. There we go. So that's our update for now. I want to thank everybody for supporting us and checking back and watching these videos, and for liking the videos and commenting and subscribing. And also thank you for the people who were able to donate. The one-time donation links are below. You can join us on Instagram and see more pictures. So, I guess until next time, she is really enjoying the soak. I can tell. I can tell. What if I'm behind you? What are you going to do? Little put in? Alright guys, till next time. Thank you.